Yeah. Sure.
Okay, now I'm recording it. But for those of you guys who don't know, Micah is only 27 years old. So Micah is not like this coach that is, you know, so much older, knows everything. Like, she is younger than I am. She is a regular person. She hates talking in front of people. She does not like, she is much more like behind the computer. She can do stuff, but in front of people, she will delegate things and have people talk for her because she does not like it.
Yeah.
And you guys, but how we all know her is we put her like on such a pedestal because she rocked this business. Like, she was like, no, I'm doing this. And then, you know, she went to a top 10 coach when she was 26 years old. And it's not because she's any different than us or better than us or smarter than us. It's because she decided she wanted it. She reads 2 personal development books every single month. So when I'm saying do 10 minutes of personal development, she's finishing 2 books every single month. And her mindset, if you're finishing 2 books a month, if you just think about it, I can even say there are days that I end up skipping my personal development. And then there's also days that I do more of it because if I feel like I'm getting messed up or behind, that's the days I do more. But I know for sure that I'm not even reading close to 2 books a month. It takes me like 2.5 to 3 months to finish the book. And it's because I'm slacking. But if you compare that to her mindset versus my mindset, that's definitely where I'm falling short because my mindset is not in the place hers is because I'm not doing as much personal development as she's doing. And so that was also something that made me think about it. I was like, damn, she's finishing 2 books and here I am like 3 months later, still got the same book going. So make sure that you're doing that. And then a guy talked, Amy, do you remember his name? I didn't write his name down.
Doug Moss or Josh Coates?
Josh Coates. Is it Coates?
Coates. Like
Coates. He gave an example, and I thought this was really cool because the first year of your business is usually when people fall off because the first year is when you're like, okay, I'm going to give this a year, and then I'll see how it goes. And your first year is really when you're building yourself up, you're giving yourself credibility. And so his first year, he ended the year at making $500. That was it. Then his second year, well, he was working only part-time, but then for 2 of the months was full-time. He was making $46,000, right?
Like crazy something, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a beach study coach, by the way. He's like I don't know. I don't even know what his title is. He's like a life coach. Like
yeah, he's kind of like a life coach. He does like he's teaching you on like ways to build your business pretty much.
But he does it for like all different kinds of businesses and people. Like
so he said in the beginning he's out making these videos and he would do webinars and like no one would get on, or he'd have like 1 or 2 people the first year. So all these people would be getting on, like, or not getting on, but he's like, I kept showing up. And at the end of the year when he only made $500, he's like, I could have just said, okay, no one ever gets on my calls. I suck at this. I made $500 in an entire year. But instead, he gave it the second year. And in the second year, he still did it part-time. 2 months, he did it full-time. And then he made $46,000 just in that year. And then this year, he has already passed that income, and he's only 4 months into the year. So it just goes to show that, like, our first year is your hardest year because you are really branding yourself. You are showing people that you can do this. I can tell you from being in this for 1 year how much my income has changed and how much even having the different relationships. Like now I have more people who just come to me because now people tell their friends. But in the beginning, I didn't have people telling anyone anything because they didn't know. And how many times in my head, I can think of people who became coaches, announced it on their page, and then fell off. So if you think about that as someone watching, if they're seeing all these coaches start and then they give up, then it makes people not want to go to them. But if they see you starting and then a year later you're still going, you're going to look so much more credible and people will want to come to you. But it takes that time. And if you are like, okay, I'm 1 month, I'm posting, I'm doing my workouts, I'm drinking my shakes, I'm doing my personal development, I'm all about this. and then the next month you're not, and then 1 month you are, people see that, and people know that then, okay, she's kind of flaky, I don't know. And I also think people want to see your results. So one of my biggest motivations, I honestly think, in this business is because I know that people actually like watch my results, and it sometimes makes me nervous because I'm like, okay, if my body's not changing, I know people like, that's why people follow me on Instagram. It's not even because I'm a coach. They follow me just because they want to see those changes. So if I'm not doing my workouts, like, then people are literally just not going to follow me, because that's how it works. So for me, I always want to be pushing myself. I want to be getting results, because that way I can show people like, hey, what I'm doing is working. And one of the things I was thinking we would maybe do is in April, I think everyone has 21 Day Fix or 21 Day Fix Extreme. So I was thinking, not in April, sorry, May, of maybe doing May, like we do a group. It would just be coaches. And then we would do the workout. If you have 21 Day Fix or 21 Day Fix Extreme, we would all check in every day. Everyone would do before pictures, and then everyone would do after pictures. Because that's what people want to see. They want to see you fully commit to a program. They want to see that before and the after picture. And I think even for me, I don't even have a before. I mean, I have like before pictures, but I don't have a before and after picture for a specific program. So I was thinking just to kind of bring us all together and to just do a challenge, because it's always fun when we're together like that. And then that way we'd all have a really good before and after, but everyone has to stick to their eating and rock those before and after pictures, because I don't want it to be like half-assed and then you get there and you're like, sweet, nothing changed on my body, because that's stupid. Hold on. Okay. Oh, and then they talked about shoot for a goal. Okay, shoot for a goal. So something I've been doing that I learned is wrong, and I'm going to stop doing. When you guys start coaching, we tell you get to Emerald, and then we tell you get to Diamond. And then you get to Diamond, or you're almost to Diamond, and you're like, my income doesn't change that much. And I felt the same way when I got to Diamond. I was like, sweet, I'm at Diamond, but my income didn't change that much. And one of the things they talked about is really you shouldn't be thinking just get to Diamond, because that's what a lot of coaches do, and then they get there and they fall short. Push for 2-star. Make 2-star like the goal that you really want. And the reason is because if you get to 2-star, that's when you start getting the quarterly bonuses, which are huge bonuses every 3 months. That's also when you can get into like Success Club party, or they do like parties for, like in Nashville, there's a separate party, and you have to be 2-star and above. So you start getting that stuff. And what was the other thing? There's one other thing that we get.
It said bonuses. They start recognizing you more. They start sending you stuff. Like,
Yeah.
You get to go to the new leadership conference. You get invited to that. Like 2-star is just kind of like where everything starts to happen. Like,
yeah,
that's when like Beachbody really starts to recognize you.
And the leadership ladder, you guys, I cannot stress how much that has helped me. Check your leadership ladder. Know what you are asked on there, because it is telling you, it's giving you what your goals are. So it's telling you like your goal this month is Success Club 5. You want to hit that. Then it's telling you where you want to be income wise. And for me, every time I checked that, it made me know like, okay, my income's going up. I'm getting closer to where I'm supposed to get. Or my volume's going up. My volume's almost to the next thing. So it really, that leadership ladder in your back office is huge, because you know if you're progressing or not, because it's showing you right there and it's setting goals for you. And that for me was bigger than worrying about rank as much, because that really showed me I was like on the right track. Oh, and they just talked about set goals that are higher. Because if you set your goal for 5-star, and the chances are you won't get to 5-star, but you'll probably get to 2-star or 3-star, and you're going to feel awesome if you get to that rank. If you set your goal to 10-star right now and you get to 5-star, you're still going to feel awesome. I think that a lot of us, when it comes to Success Club, one of our biggest problems as a team is everyone's setting their goal at Success Club 5. If you're setting your success club, you're like, I'm going to hit 5. Well, the chances, if you know you only have to get 3, then you're not as worried about it. You don't work as hard because you're like, I just have to get 3 people. I can do this. And then you put it off. If you set it as I'm hitting Success Club 15 and that's your like goal and you really are pushing for it, then you're more likely to definitely hit 5, if not 10. But if you're only hitting it at 5, I think that's why you're falling short, because Success Club should be mandatory for everyone. If you want to grow your business, do not have months that you miss Success Club, because that's huge. And it's just showing that you're working your business, that you're helping people. Because if you go through an entire month and then you get 0 Success Club points, you didn't even get to help one person. And we have these awesome products. We have these awesome shakes that are amazing for people. And we want to be able to share that with people. We want people to get those benefits. And if you're not even helping one person, then that means you didn't even let one person in your life, you didn't even introduce them to these amazing products and shakes. Also, they were talking about things that Success Club every month should be mandatory. And then they said no top coaches are hitting Success Club 5. So if you're hitting success, they were talking about how Success Club or the top coaches are hitting like 15 and 20 because they're going into this and they're going strong. Even for me and my story, when I wanted to make this full time, like me and Amy were talking about, you guys see me posting pictures now and I'm like by the pool, so I may not be working like 7 hours because I might be laying out or doing other things. But my first 7 months of the business, I worked like 7 or 8 hours a day. Like I knew I needed this full time, so I did whatever it took to get there. And I didn't give up. And there were a lot of days, like Chloe knew, she would hang out with my family or my parents because I told her, you know, we have to do this if we don't want her with sitters. So that was a commitment that I was willing to make to get to where I'm at, so that now I can kind of sit back and enjoy my life a little bit more. But make that commitment if you guys really want that, because once you go through that hard part where you're like, I'm on no sleep, I am working a job, I'm doing this, I'm raising my kids, but you get through that 5 to 8 months and then you're full time, your life is going to completely change. And then it gives you so much more freedom than you ever thought. So it's just getting through that tough time to get to the freedom that you have now. And, but it takes a lot longer if you're not just like, hey, I'm going to do this and commit and go.
Just take a note on that. And like the other thing, you also have to like really, I think everyone needs to like sit down and really think about where they do want to go with this business and what they do really want. Because maybe your goal isn't to go full time in 6 months. Maybe your goal is to just do this part time or whatever, which is fine. And you can work at the pace that you want to work at, but then you need to be happy with that at the end of the month and at the end of 6 months. Like if you, at the end of the month, you're not hitting whatever goal you set and that makes you like sad or down, then you're not setting your goals high enough and you're not doing enough for it. Like, does that make sense? Like if you're good, like with what you're doing and you're just doing this part-time or as a hobby, like that's totally okay, but you have to decide what you really want this to be. And I think that takes like a lot of like just like self-reflection and really thinking about what you want to do with this business. Like not everybody is going to go full-time in 6 months, like, or 8 months or a year. It could take you 2 years. It could take you 4 years. They were saying at corporate that it probably is really kind of the average coach doesn't really take off till 3 years into their business.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Jessie going full-time in 7 months like she did. Ashley staying home after 8 months. Micah, where she's at in her career. Like those are coaches that have taken this and just ran with it, like decided that they were going to do this, they were going to do it full time, and they were going to go big. And that's not what every coach does, but you have to make that decision for yourself, and then you have to decide what it takes to do that. Like that was one of the things that I talked about is like you have to set your goals, but then you have to like match your actions to what your goals are. And if you want your goals, if your goals are huge, then you have to take huge action. If your goals are small, then you're going to take small action, but you just have to decide what that is, what it looks like to you. So.
And something they talked about in this business, they said this isn't a business that there's maybes. Like this business, you are either yes, you're doing it, or no, you're not doing it. And so they said, as coaches, when you're coaching, you need to make that decision. You need to know, like, I want this and I'm going to do this. And like Amy said, you're going to match your actions. Or you have to be willing to say, I want this, but I don't want it the way I'm saying. Because something they talked about, which would be really hard for all of us, and Ashley went over this for those of you guys that were on the Diamond Call last night. But they said how if someone is not hitting Success Club, so if one of my coaches, you guys come to me and say, I want this to be full-time in this amount of time. I'm going to hit Success Club every single month. I'm going to hit Success Club 10. And you're like, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing my power hour. Here we go. Well, then when you don't hit it, they said as coaches, which I would feel probably really uncomfortable doing this, but then we're supposed to go to you and say, like the wording is, honestly, every month you say, so you're supposed to talk to the person and say like, every month you tell me you want to hit Success Club and you want this to be full time and you don't hit it. Are you not hitting it? Are you saying that you're going to hit it because you don't want to let me down, or what's going on? That way it brings you to like a spot that you can talk, because sometimes people are just saying, I'm going to hit Success Club because you know that is what like as coaches we're supposed to be doing. And it's not necessarily something you're willing to do. And I think that kind of makes sense, because sometimes if you really want it, you have to do what it takes to get there. And if you are doing it because we're telling you that's what you need to do, then that's the reason you're not getting there, because you don't really stand behind it. You're just doing it like, okay, my coach is telling me I'm supposed to hit Success Club, so I'm going to do what she says or what he says. So I think that's something that everyone needs to think about, and I want you guys all to think about that, and you not answer it right now, but I do want you to decide, is this something that you want to do full time? Is this something that you want to do part time? And I also want to know how long you're doing it. And I want you to think about it and decide, what are you willing to do to get there, so that I'm able to help you guys, because it's hard for me. I want to make sure that the people who really want it, who are going to work their butts off and want it to be full time in a certain amount of time, I want to make sure I'm helping them get there. I also want to make sure I'm not pressuring anyone that's like, okay, I'm going to do this part-time, and I don't want to feel like I'm pushing anyone in that wrong direction to like speed them along if that's not what they want. So that's kind of like your homework for this week, is just think about what you're willing to sacrifice to do that. Like I had to be willing to sacrifice some of the time with my daughter during that 7 months. Like I was not at things. I skipped things. I didn't watch. I was never someone who watched tons of TV, but I didn't hang out with my friends before I moved. I didn't go out and do things. I made a decision that I was like, I need to do this, and I have 7 months to do it. And I gave up a lot during that 7 months. Now, just because I gave that up doesn't mean you're willing to give stuff up for that 7 months. So I think deciding, like just thinking about it and figuring out what exactly you want out of this and what you're willing to give up, because it does take some sacrifice in the beginning. You do have to make sacrifices and say, no matter what, I'm going to work I'm going to do my power hour every day. I'm going to start 5 conversations a day or whatever it is. And you have to be willing to back your actions. That way you don't feel like you're failing, because when you are like, I'm going to hit Success Club and you're not hitting it, you start to feel like, okay, I'm sucking as a coach because I'm not doing it. But a lot of times you think you're starting tons of conversation, or you think you're putting all this time in, and you might not be putting in as much time as you want. Okay, really fast. This call is going to end. Do you guys want me to do another call this week, or do you want me to just start a new call? Anybody? Because I know it took like 40 minutes. What would you guys prefer to do?
I'm fine with another call.
I think another call.
Another call.
Okay, so I'm going to end this call, and then I'll post the new one in the link, then we can click on it.
Okay.
All right.